I always look at, to listen to the politics and the rhetoric is one thing. Pull out the graphs and charts. The numbers do not lie. Now to that point, now you do have to get into politics like we were saying, where are you going to draw that line? Well, we drew it at the 55-year-old cutoff. We drew it there. At some point, you're going to have to change it because the numbers, it just don't work. And it's not complicated math. Just sit there and add all that kind of stuff up. Now, when those numbers came out about unfunded liabilities in the government, and you're at $62.3 trillion, that's scary. And that's going to, we're in the 112th Congress, that's going to go out to the 120th Congress to be able to tackle something like that because of the magnitude.
Thank you. I just have this final question. I know that you touched upon state tax. You hear so much about regulations and how regulations are stifling our economy. It's scaring our business people to grow their business and in turn hire new people. It seems to me that it would be easier for our politicians to simply point out exactly what regulations you're talking about and how, if they were removed or at least toned down, how it would directly affect our economy and grow our economy. Thank you.
I'll give you an example of one that I've had direct interaction with being on the Natural Resources Committee. We've probably had 6, 7, maybe even 8 hearings about the Horizon disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. And I happened to sit back next to I'll call him a Cajun, but a Cajun from Louisiana, but he likes to refer to himself as a coon ass. Anybody that knows any Cajuns. He's a fiery guy. Even most of the guys from Texas, that is their industry. And when that disaster happened, yes, it was tragic. There was an ecological disaster down there that is still being cleaned up. But again, where's the balance? That was shut off. This is done. The first report, I want to say, we got the report late January. It was a 400-page report that the government set out to look at that. The one thing that wasn't in the report, there was nothing in a 400-page report about the blowout preventer, first of all. That was just left out of the whole report. But the next thing you go into, the way they want to solve the problem is, well, we want to add this regulation to make this harder, and add this one. And then the next round of testimony you get is from the oil companies. They say, well, we met that standard. Now they're moving the line again. They're constantly doing this to us. It's a frustrating process. In a world that is specifically developing countries, and your reliance on energy and cheap energy development. You look at what China's doing. They're doing what we did, 30, 40, 50 years ago. There's going to be ecological impacts to that. We've come a long way in what we do. They don't really care about it right now, and you see what they're booming. So you have to find that balance. The thing I worry about with the moratorium that was put on the drilling, specifically in the Gulf of Mexico where we know oil is at, the permitting process was shut down. I've learned that to actually find oil in a place like that and get it through finding it and then getting a permit to go down and get it and then getting another permit to pull it out of the ground is about a 15 to 20 year process. So I tell people all the time, I goes, you think you're feeling the energy oil crunch right now? Where's that lull in production going to be when it slides 15 years out? because we haven't been keeping up with the demand. That's the scary part, and it is uncertain, whether it's tax regulation, environmental regulation. I'm sure anybody can pull it out and pull out onerous environmental regulation, all kinds of stuff. We had there was a bill going around. I don't think it's been taken up yet. They had an issue with the reflective nature of street signs, that it wasn't reflective enough. So the regulation was to replace every street sign in America. I can afford that. It's things like that that are just, they're just chipping away. So there's 1,000 of them. But thanks for the question, appreciate it. Anyone else?
I heard you talking about a lot of things, and you're going to go back to Washington and you're going to fight the fight on the FAA bill. And the only reason that you're going to fight the fight on the FAA bill is because you don't like rulings on unions and you want to bust the unions. I have not heard you say one word about anything you're going to do when you go back to Washington about jobs. And that's what, no, let me finish.
I think
I want to ask the question.
And I did address it, because I think the number one issue with jobs is taxes. The tax reform is the number one issue with jobs.
Well, let's talk about that, okay? Let's talk about that. My father used to tell a joke. There was a fellow who said, I lose $1 on every pair of shoes that I sell. And I said, well, how do you stay in business? Because I sell a lot of shoes. What you're talking about doing is let's reduce the price of shoes so we don't lose $1 on every pair. No, that's not the answer. The answer is this.
That's not what I'm saying. There's people with capital out there that are sitting on their wallets. They don't want to lose that dollar you're talking about. They want to know what the rule of the game is for 10, 15 years. They want to know what the rules are. They're willing to go do that. I talked to a gentleman, this was back in the campaign, over in Cinnaminson. He goes, I'm ready to hire.
I heard you say one word about anything you're going to do when you go back to Washington about jobs. And that's what, no, let me finish. I want to ask the question.
And I did address it, because I think the number one issue with jobs is taxes. The tax reform is the number one issue with jobs.
Well, let's talk about that, okay? Let's talk about that. My father used to tell a joke. There was a fellow who said, I lose $1 on every pair of shoes that I sell. And I said, well, how do you stay in business? Because I sell a lot of shoes. What you're talking about doing is let's reduce the price of shoes so we don't lose $1 on every pair. No, that's not the answer. The answer is this.
That's not what I'm saying. There's people with capital out there that are sitting on their wallets. They don't want to lose that dollar you're talking about. They want to know what the rule of the game is for 10, 15 years. They want to know what the rules are. They're willing to go do that. I talked to a gentleman, this was back in the campaign, over in Cinnaminson. He goes, I'm ready to hire 20 people right now in my business. He goes, I don't know what it's going to cost me to employ those people. I don't know if my taxes are going up. I don't know what health care is going to cost me. He goes, you know what? I'm ready to grow, but you know what? I'm not going to risk what I've worked my life for and what I want to give to my children at the expense of going out and creating more jobs. He goes, I'm going to take more time off. I'm going to go play some golf, take my kids to Disney World. That's where we're at. It's the uncertainty.
Right. I'm going to pay $15,000 to an accountant to help me save more money. $15,000, there are a lot of people in this country that are not making that in a year. So I'm not sorry for that guy at all. When you have, the one chart you did not have up there, is the distribution of wealth in this country. When 80%, all these people in this room, they own 1% of the wealth in this country. And 1% of the people in this country own 80% of the wealth, and we're taxing them at 15%. Now, never before in the history of this country, when we have had a war, there's been a war tax. The Bush administration spent money on wars that we didn't have, they didn't fund them. The thing that we need now are jobs. And don't talk to me about taxes, talk to me about investment, about infrastructure. Don't talk to me about drilling oil, talk to me about alternate forms of energy. Let's get this country back to work, and then you broaden the tax base. Let's tax people who are making money, who have enjoyed the benefits of this great country.
Let me address your point. Everything you just brought up costs money. How are we going to generate it? How are we going to generate it? We have to get those people that are...
spend money to make money.
No, you don't. Totally. We already spent all the money we had. It's gone. What are you going to do? The people with the money, we got to give them the ability and the security to say, I'm jumping back in this game. I'm going to expand business. I'm going to grow business. I'm going to put people back to work. That's what puts the money back in the system.
Let's talk for a second.
You remember I just said we're living on borrowed money from the end of July until January.
I understand that,
So
and I understand how we got into that situation too. The point is, we're in that situation now, and we've got to get out of that situation. And we are looking at a crumbling infrastructure in this country. Talk for a second about Medicare and Medicaid. That bill that you voted for, along party lines, does not keep Medicare as we know it. It's going to give people a voucher to buy
It's not a voucher.
insurance.
It's not a voucher. And Medicare, as you know it, if you do not do something, will be gone in 9 years.
That way may well be, and you have to make some adjustments. Maybe
You just agreed with me then.
No, I'm saying you have to make some adjustments.
And Medicare, as you know it, had a $500 trillion chunk taken out of it with
test would be the kind of thing that is okay. But don't give me money to go pay an insurance company.
It's not a voucher. It is a means-tested, government-backed insurance program.
Sir, do you have a question? It's time to pass to the next person.
I do indeed have a question. The cost of medical care in this country has been driven up by the insurance companies who have to make a profit, so we're paying for their profit. They advertise, so we're paying for their advertising. Drug companies, which they don't do in Canada, advertise, so we're paying for that. We're paying for their lobbyists. Why don't we go for the kind of medical coverage that every other industrial country in this world has? And don't tell me it's socialized medicine. I'm a disabled veteran and I love what I'm getting from the government.
Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep our questions to a 2 or 3 minute interval so more people can speak, please.
And I think we all agree that the cost of medicine is out of control. And it's not easy. I think the first thing that we really do have to address with it is something that's been out there, and it was out there in the healthcare debate. Number one is tort reform. It has to be addressed. That's number one.
How are we going to save Medicare and Medicaid without doing something about long-term care? I mean, I can't blame us because when we were growing up, our grandparents were taking care of their parents, and their parents were taking care of their grandparents and whatnot. Today, we all have to work. But nothing is being said with all these bills about getting long-term care so that we can save Medicare and Medicaid. What can be done about it?
It has to be part of the process. I think when we go back and we also talk about healthcare and talk about long-term care, is early intervention and all this stuff, to not, because as we get into long-term care, when you look at the curve of healthcare, that last few years of life is out of the world. It's off the charts. Everybody talks about it. We always talk about, well, not even so much in senior populations, we talk about wellness, and we talk about, not only is it a healthy lifestyle, but it helps us with our costs. In the problems that you'll get in the long-term care, maybe they don't arise because we were doing the proper thing down the line. And there's ideas out there to incentivize patients.
Doesn't take the insurance policy to take care of it.
It's a possibility because, I've had 4 or 5 hospice people come in and talk to me about that type of stuff. And it is.
You can get it at
Yeah.
our age because it would cost a fortune, it costs me $245.
Well, that's the thing is you can't throw it on at the late dance.